Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Luis Gutierrez, and welcome to episode 39 of the Geek Press podcast. On this episode, we talk about The Last of Us. We talk about the Legend of Vox Machina. We also touch on the Xbox Developer Direct and how badly I want to play Hi-Fi Rush. We sprinkle in a few other topics here and there about God of War Ragnarok, a few other things, But if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please be sure to give us a good 5-star review and follow us. If you're listening to us on Spotify, please be sure to give us another 5-star review and follow us. And if you're listening to us on YouTube, please be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. It'll help us climb the top of the charts. But without further ado, here's episode 39 of the Geek Press podcast. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As you heard already, my co-host was laughing, but my name is Luis Gutierrez. And thank you for tuning in to episode 39 of the Geek Press podcast. As always, I am joined by a rotating guest, a celebrity co-host, and today we have the one, the only, drumroll please, Samuel L. Jackson. Hi,
Hey, thank you so much for inviting me.
what's up, Samuel? How you been?
The thing is that when I told George Lucas I wanted a purple lightsaber, I got a goddamn purple lightsaber. That's what I do. I just go in and I just do things that I want to do. That's just what happens. That's all I do. I just go in, take what I want. That's the type of guy I am.
That was Mr. Jackson. How you been?
Uh, I've been good. I wish I can't keep the facade. I don't know what Samuel L. Jackson is
You
like.
could have been like, I'm tired of these goddamn snakes on this
What?
goddamn plane.
What are you talking about?
You've never seen snakes on a plane?
No.
It's literally about snakes on a plane, and he's fighting snakes on a plane.
Hello, listeners. I am Noah Garcia, the co-host of this podcast, and I'm sorry, but I've never seen snakes on a
Have you ever
plane.
seen Pulp Fiction?
No.
You have to have seen the clip where he was like, "Say something again, motherfucker," and he shoots him in
You
the.
know what? It's kind of funny. I've never seen Pulp Fiction, but for like a drama class I did in community college, we literally recreated some scene. I don't remember what it was. It was like some guy gets shot or something.
I'm pretty
I
sure
forget.
that's the same scene I was talking about.
So I'm just a bad actor.
Yeah,
Oh my god. Well,
I fun fact
mhm.
for the listeners, I used to want to be an actor. I was a theater kid in high school. This is a whole story for another day when we have
you
nothing
were
to
you
talk
were a
about.
you were a jock become theater
Yeah,
kid.
I was like Zac Efron
Mhm.
and what's it called, High School Musical.
Mhm.
I was the star of the football team. No, I wasn't. I played football, I did track, and I did wrestling, and then I left that all behind for a world of theater. And yeah, that's a story for another day though. Okay,
Let
but
me tell you, I've seen like let me tell you the Samuel L. Jackson movies I've seen. The Long Kiss Goodnight,
I've never
which
even
I feel
seen
like
that movie.
I feel like no one's ever seen it before, and Captain Marvel, and that's all that comes to mind right now. I'm so sorry,
So
everyone.
not like
Oh,
Avengers.
oh, I was about to say Avengers. Well, the Avengers and Star Wars, and that's kind of it. Like, I know he's in a lot of stuff, and I'm sorry, but I just haven't seen it. But hello, welcome to this podcast where we just talk about stuff. Uh, where Lewis also puts me through impersonations that I never pull off well. I think the only one I pulled off well was Andrew Garfield that one time.
Nah, you did a good Ryan Reynolds.
Thank you. I don't. Oh, this is because I talked about Mint Mobile. But Lewis, what are you up to? What have you been listening? What have you been watching? What's going on?
So we're gonna talk about some obvious shows that we talk about weekly now. But let's see here. I have just beaten last night as of recording this. I beat God of War Ragnarok, and it was
I'm
really
proud of
good.
you.
Thank you. It was.
Mhm.
I think it was a. I agree with a lot of the reviews. It's a really solid game, and it's a real emotional roller coaster. But I will say this. Okay? As
Mhm.
someone who was very late to the party on this game, on this franchise, the reboot of the franchise, I have some not problems with it, but like some icks. Like, And
Mhm.
everyone I was talking to was like, "Yeah, this ending's gonna make you cry. This ending is super sad." Blah blah blah
Mhm.
blah blah. And the way God of War 2019 or 2018 ended, it was heavily hinted. It was heavily suggesting that Kratos was gonna die, and then that's a constant theme brought up time and time again in Ragnarok. And
Mhm.
I was like, damn, like this is gonna be like I was like, one, that's super ballsy that you show off the ending like this
Mhm.
early on, and two, I love that you're sticking to your guts. And so I was like, damn, they're gonna kill off Kratos in this like he's gonna go out in like this blaze of glory or something, you know? And
Mhm.
it was I think it wasn't the ending
Mhm.
to me wasn't sad. It was it was sweet, you know, it was like fulfilling.
Mhm.
And yeah, so like that was my biggest thing ever. Like I was expecting like some real sad shit to like put down the controller and be like, damn, you know? But I was just like, oh, like this is nice. This is very nice. Because this isn't like God of War, uh
Mhm.
like there's never a happy ending in God of War. There's always a problem lurking over the corner. And
Exactly.
but this one it was like, yeah, we have a few problems, but it's really nothing we can't handle at this point. And I was like, yeah, this is really nice. And that was it. I don't think it was as sad as everyone said it was.
Mhm.
But just to kind of get real for a second, I was talking about this with my girlfriend. The
Mhm.
strongest moment of the game was the father son bonding, like seeing Kratos, like because in the 2018 version, Kratos hardly talks. He doesn't joke around. He doesn't really entertain Atreus. But in this one, he's like joking with him. He's like laughing with him. And then like there was a line that I remember where Trace is like, hey, Dad, which one of your weapons is your favorite weapon?" And then Kratos is saying says something along the lines of, "These are tools to use in combat." Blah blah blah. I don't have a favorite. Like he gives him like this very serious answer,
Mhm.
you know. And then
Mhm.
Atreus is like, "Oh, that's cool. My favorite is the axe." And then Kratos is like, "I too like the X." And I'm like in the last game he would have never fucking said that.
Mhm.
And I was like, I thought that was super funny and like super like sweet. But there's a lot of little lines like that in the game. And then like there was a part too where he's like, "I want you to be better than me, and if you don't become better than me, I failed as a father." And
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, you know, like okay. And like as someone too who like lost their dad early in life,
Mhm.
I'm like, man, like vicariously, like I was like, this is what like I wish my dad was
My
like.
dad was like this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I like this is what it's like to like have a father who loves and cares for you.
Oh my god, Louis.
Yeah, and so that those are the stuff that was going on in the back of my head as I was playing.
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, it's like it's really nice. Like like I say this unsarcastically. Like it must be really nice to have a father there for you who like at the end of the day always wants you to succeed, you know? And
Yeah.
that was like the biggest part for me that like really made me enjoy the game because like that was something I could that like really hit a note with me.
I love that I think there is a moment where there spoilers for the game, by the way. We're not gonna, like, do heavy, like, exact plot stuff, but spoilers. There's a moment where Mimir they're talking about Thor's family, and Atreus is just like, "Oh, yeah, they seem like they've really cleaned up based on what you told me." And that, like, how bad could it be, like, the raising the kids? And Mimir is just like he's like, I can't do a Mimir voice.
No, are you
Like,
there?
oh, yeah, that's what Atreus does too. He
Well,
tried
hold
to
on.
mimic him, and I love that. Uh-huh.
Your mic cut out. Can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Hello, am I still here?
Yes, yes, you're still here, but
Okay. No, there's an interesting moment where he's just like, you had a rough childhood, but you could never imagine how bad it could be for other people." And he was talking
yeah.
about Thor's sons, Magni and Mogni, and, like, how fucked up they were. 'Cause, we kinda got the sense that the first 2 boys were the fuck ups, and the 3rd child, the daughter, was like, "We did everything wrong with these kids, and now we're gonna try to be better for this kid."
Mhm.
Mhm, so I think that was very interesting, and, you know, Atreus had a rough childhood, but it could have been worse. He had a dad that was emotionally distant, that was emotionally like, mentally scarred, but at least he, like, stepped up. He tried to
Yeah.
be there, and they grew together, and I think that's such great writing and work on on the characters. I think I saw a tweet of some guy's stream where he like it's one of those nerd rages, the guys that just nerd out and
Hmm.
rage. And he was just like, what the fuck do you mean character? There was no character development at all for any of these games for anyone." And he was like yelling. I'm just
I'm
like,
like, did we not play the same fucking game?
doing not like literally they have a literal thing. They spell it out for you when you guys are in the land of the dead with the wolf quest, where he's just like where Kratos literally spells it out like, "I am so scared and angry that I didn't trust you, and that's pushing you away."
Hmm.
That's literally what he said, and that's literally what's going on. And Atreus was just like, "Well, as much as I'm coming into my own self as a person, I need to trust you more and listen to you more." And they have a whole thing. They have a whole thing, and I don't understand how people don't understand that. But it's just such a good game. I don't know. On it, part of me is like, I want to see more of these characters because they leave it open for both of them. Like they
Yeah.
both have a future in this world. But part of me is also just like, I'm okay if there's no more games. I'm down for like just the possibilities and just maybe just ending the franchise here. I don't know if
Yeah.
they'll do more.
Okay, now this is gonna be super
Mhm.
spoilery, okay? For
Yeah,
people who
so
haven't played Ragnarok, skip maybe like 5 minutes ahead.
mhm,
Um, what would you do at the end? Because um, they like Kratos
mhm,
saw his future and he becomes like a loved god, you know?
mhm,
Like people love and respect him, and I was like, okay, like Kratos is getting his happy ending finally, but
mhm,
like, and then Faye is also talking like, yeah, there's the other Odin's Valkyries are out there. We got to deal with them.
mhm,
Like they're going to become a problem. And
mhm,
then you have Loki kind of, or Atreus, Loki, whatever you want to call him. Like he's coming to age, you know? He's like out
mhm.
finding like I could see those being DLCs.
Yeah, but not proper games.
Yeah, so I don't know how they would do like a full-fledged game. Like
Mhm,
what would you do at that point, you know? Because they've established like in the God of War lore, and like also too like I know this because of like a TikTok comic book guy, but
mhm,
like there's gods in like Egypt and all that too. And like so
mhm,
there's gods around the world, like as you can tell like when he was in Athens in Greece fighting the like Zeus and them. But like
mhm.
yeah, like no one's going to try to fuck with Kratos as long as he's there. Like they're going to be like no, we're just going to leave him alone.
I honestly, when I saw the ending, there are two possibilities that came to mind. The first being Atreus's search for the other like soul marbles of the giants.
Uh-huh.
You're like, maybe that could be something, like, you could totally have him go to Egypt, like, some trader found a marble and sold it off to Egypt, and he has to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just him kind of like actually traveling
Mhm.
instead of traveling the realms, he's traveling the world.
Yeah,
Okay.
so something like that, and my second off is, Sindri. You could have something. I feel Sindri could carry, not like as a big bad, but as and like an antagonist, like, he's so stricken with grief, and he wants to do something to, like, bring his brother back, and then
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
because he's just falling into a pit, and there's no digging himself out, and like, and he doesn't want to. So I could maybe see him being like, "I'm gonna bring my brother back" or whatever, and then Freya's just like, "No, if you do that, you'll destroy the realm," or something. I don't know, some shit like that. But I those are like the two options that came to mind. I don't know if either are truly viable, but that's just kind of where my thoughts went. I mean,
Mhm.
I would love a comic or a book or something, but I'm not sure where the series would go exactly.
Yeah, but I'm happy that that you know there's going to be
Mhm,
more God of War content coming in one way or another, either DLC or game. Time will tell.
mhm.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've also for my birthday, Elizabeth bought me like a mini journal, and I've been like journaling every other day.
Okay,
It's a
that's
nice
cool.
it's a nice little thing. I recommend people. Um,
Mhm,
I think that's about it. It was like a slow week for news, but we'll
mhm.
get into that later. No, what about you? What have you been doing?
Oh my
How's
gosh.
life treating you?
Life's been treating me okay. I've been starting up school again, which is
Yeah, how is that? How's the acclimation? Oh, oh.
it's interesting because I'm just I don't know, it just feels like all the classes I'm taking are just stuff that either was missed in my appointments that I need to do for general ed, or stuff I just need to fulfill like the quota for units.
Yeah.
It's like we're in my one class and we were talking about like TikToks, and I was just like, I already know how to do green screen. I already know like the statistics, so it's just kind of like okay, just a refresher. And then the other one was like history, and it was very interesting.
There was that weird feeling when you're in a class and you're like, you don't want to like sound pretentious or be like that guy, but
Mhm.
but you do kind of be that guy. You're like, already odd.
I felt like an asshole because I was in a Chicano writers class, and like she was asking a question, and like some person was just like, "Oh," and then I go up and I give like a clinical answer, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, I am so fucking embarrassing."
Yeah, you know, sometimes you can't
Because
help but be that
uh,
guy.
because like I think it was just like, "Oh, so what are some of the narratives that are in our life?" And somebody was just like, "Oh, well, like food, like the stuff you eat when you grow up," like a regular person answer.
Hmm.
And then like I'm just like, okay, I'll answer. And I was like, well, you see, during the social and economic power structures that begin at the family unit and go all, and I did a whole fucking thing. And after I was done, I was like, I'm so fucking cringe. Like that's so embarrassing to be the fucking nerd. And let me tell you, toxic masculinity is real because no, let me tell you, because we're sitting in class and I'm kind of just keeping to myself, and everyone's just like, "Oh, what's your name?" I'm like, "Hey, Noah Garcia." In my normal voice, I'm like, "Hey, Noah Garcia, journalism major." There's like, "Okay, working partners to the person next to you," and I turn my head, and this is a very cute girl. She's like really cute, and she's like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you," and I'm just like, "Hey, I'm Noah. Nice to meet you. How's your day going? Are you having a nice it's not how's the drive?"
Was she like, my, oh my, Noah, your voice is so sexy. Like, oh
No,
my
it's just
God.
no, it's just toxic masculinity is real because the moment I saw a cute girl, I was just like, "What's up?
Nah,
What's going
bro,
on?"
you knew what had to be done.
I did. And I didn't I kinda kept to myself as a teenager
Hmm.
a lot, so I feel like I didn't do a lot of the normal teenager things. So, when she wrote down her number and put it on a sticky note and gave it to me for, like,
Ooh.
I was like, "Oh my god," like, my inside was like, "Oh my god,"
You're
like
like, play cool, play cool,
'cause
play
that's
cool.
something people would do in high school. You'd write sticky notes and you'd, like, slap them on things or something, you know what I mean?
Hmm. You know,
So even though it was for a project, I was still, like, internally, I was like, "Oh, I got a sticky note number. Oh
I,
my god."
I remember this one time when I was in
Mhm,
college. Uh, I like because I have a girlfriend, so I
mhm.
never really want to like
You don't have to
when
brag.
when when I'm talking to like other women,
Mhm,
I never want to give like that impression. Like I always, it's always like one of like the opening things I say. I don't
mhm,
flat out say, "Hey, I have a girlfriend." I ease it into the conversation. Let's say like
mhm.
we're like for the sake of conversation, you're a girl and you're like, "Oh, that's nice to meet you. I like your shoes." I'm like, "Oh yeah, thanks." I was at the
My
mall the
girlfriend
N
bought
no,
them.
yeah, I'll say something like
You
that.
hoe. And you push her.
I was at the mall the other day, and my girlfriend was like, "Hey, I think you'd like these shoes," and something like that, you know?
Mhm,
And, so there was this girl I was talking to, and it was so funny because, like, I'm very particular on how I choose my words when I'm, like, doing certain
mhm,
things, and so, like, we needed to get each other's contact information down. One, because she, like, sat, like, right next to me and, like, we hit it
mhm,
off really well, and two, because I knew, like, we would rely on each other for, like, schoolwork. So I was like,
mhm.
"Hey," I was like, "If you mind, can I get your school?" "Daddy, I'm trying to
Sorry,
tell a story here."
that's my dog, I'm sorry. Tell your story, tell your story.
And, I was like, "Okay," I was like, "Hey, let's do you mind, like, shooting me a student email or something? So that way I could just, like we could get a hold of each other." And she's like, "Here, I'll do you one better. Just take my number down." And I was like, "Yeesh." And I was like, "Okay, this is I don't I'm in unterrained waters right now." So in situations like that, I always found it funny. But yeah, I get what you mean a little bit. That was just a
Yeah.
quick fun story I wanted to share.
My dog got so upset by this infidelity, she had to
Right?
bark. She was just like, I can't believe you betray your girlfriend like this." And my dog's British. Anyways, that's just my school time. I thought it was very cute. I've been doing okay, and just getting back into the swing of things.
It's your
I
second
have
week now,
been
right? Or first week?
yeah, I'm starting my second week. I'm very excited. Oh,
Okay.
Daddy, I'm so sorry. Audience, my dog is just crying for attention.
No, Noah is like viciously beating his dog right now.
I
That's a joke. That is a joke.
I am. No, I would say come from me, PETA, but also PETA like euthanizes dogs. Look up the terrible things PETA has done. Everyone, I'm giving you everyone an early homework assignment. Look up atrocities of PETA, and you'll be surprised. But basically, I've been okay. I've been listening to a lot of Kendrick Lamar. I'm a big fan of Damn is I think is still his best album. Mr. Morale and Little Steppers is all right. This is the recent
I
one.
need yeah, I need I heard that one was like really great. I
Mhm.
need to like fully go through and listen to that one.
This is gonna sound pretentious as hell because maybe I just am pretentious,
We're
but
all a little pretentious, aren't
I've
we?
yeah, just a little bit. That I feel like Damn, if you guys don't know the album, it's the one the Humble song was on. Is a bit more commercial, and his recent album is a bit more personal in a way because there's a lot of like catchy hooks and stuff in the Damn album. But in the recent one, it's not that it's not catchy, it's just like the melodies aren't as, like, commercial as one would say, like, they're a bit weirder, they're a bit more offbeat, like, yeah, like, there's no viral hits, I think, from this album like there are on other people's albums, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I've been enjoying it,
You know,
and I have yeah, go ahead.
speaking of music, I'm happy you brought that
Mhm,
up. For some reason this week I got the like the ick, not the ick, like the itch
mhm.
to like start listening to like Wu-Tang Clan again and MF
Be
Doom.
careful, they're nothing to fuck with.
I know. Like it's funny you mentioned that. Like I was just like I want to listen to some like older rap. So I was like for a couple of days straight I was just listening to Wu-Tang and MF Doom on my Spotify playlist. It was nice. But yeah,
Oh,
sorry, that just
nice.
reminded me of that. Keep going, keep going.
No, it's okay. But, a show I have been watching is, The Legend of Vox Machina.
Yeah. So
Oh my
as
gosh.
for those who are unaware,
Mhm,
it is a show by Critical Role. Oh,
mhm.
actually, hold on, we'll talk about it in a second. The show by Critical Role, and they drop 3 episodes every Friday. And I nearly forgot to watch the episodes last night because I was playing God of War. Uh, but Noah, did you hear that Critical Role is doing another show with Amazon?
Mhm.
And now, is that another campaign? Because I was talking about this with my girl, and I didn't know. Oh, sorry if that sounded weird.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, educate me on
Mhm.
this, please.
Okay, so from what I understand, the Vox Machina, that was their first ever
I
campaign.
thought that was their second
Has
campaign.
Was it their second campaign?
I
That was one
I
of the okay.
I heard something. I was you may be right. You may be right.
Okay. Vox Machina is a campaign, and then they built off, the popularity of that, and they did another campaign called the Mighty Nine, but like German 9, so NEIN, and it is set 20 years after the events of Vox Machina's campaign.
Oh,
Mhm,
okay.
and it, like, focuses on new characters in that exact same world.
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
Mm,
That's so because I was talking about this with my girlfriend too. We'll get into
mhm,
Vox in a second, but also spoiler alert for Vox too. You've been warned.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
we were talking about it, and I was like, it'd be cool to have like just year round Critical Role content for this. So it's
Mhm,
like you have Vox the first half, and then you have this one, the Mighty Nine, the second half. And if the Mighty Nine sucks, then you got Vox, and if Vox falls off, then you got the Mighty Nine.
mhm.
So I think this would be cool. Like this would be really cool to have. But yeah, go on, go on.
And I think that's a smart move because I know both have their fans, and I think Mighty Nine is the most recent campaign. Not the most recent, but I know it's like the most
One of
current
the most
compared.
recent ones.
Yeah, one of the most recent campaigns. And I think it's a fun move, especially since it's a 20-year gap. So you can have things linked together, but they don't have to like exactly connect.
Yeah, it'd be cool
So
to
like
see like Vex
mhm.
and Vox and like Silas and them all like older, kind of make
Like
like.
you don't have to really like the stories won't bump into each other, I feel like.
Hmm.
Like, you don't have to be you can watch one or the other and it's not gonna spoil Vox Machina, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But they pump out these seasons faster than I thought.
yeah, really faster than fucking Invincible.
Mhm.
Shit.
Well, Invincibles, I think they're adapting a whole new animation style for them.
Ah, okay. I'm just salty. I want more
No,
Invincible.
but, Vox Machina's animation, it's nice. There's a bunch of stuff, but it's not like I don't want to like discredit the animators, but it's not like the most complex
So
thing. Like
so
technically speaking,
you
it's
just
not the
you just
most
don't
complex.
you just don't fuck with Legend of Korra. I get it. Okay,
I love Legend of
that's the same
Korra.
studio.
I know. I'm not saying it. I'm just oh my god. I'm just saying like all the faces are the same. I'm not gonna like
No, you're out of pocket on that one. Yeah, out of
oh
pocket.
my
I'm
I'm
gonna call
sorry.
out some
I'm
bullshit
sorry.
when I see it.
Oh my god. Okay. If you guys wanna talk shit to me, you better like and follow on all on this podcast, and then you can talk shit to me. You know what? Go to Apple Podcasts and give us 5 stars, and as long as you give us 5 stars, I'll let you say whatever you want to me. And you can say like the most obscene shit to me. Just give us 5 stars. But yeah, I'm really enjoying Critical Role. And you watched the first 2 episodes or the first three?
I watched the of the newest batch. I've watched the first two
Mhm.
episodes.
Oh, so are you caught up?
I haven't. Yeah, I'm caught up, but I haven't watched the third episode in the second batch.
Okay, gotcha.
What about
So
you?
I have seen all of it. I
Okay.
binged it last night. In fact, I was worried I wouldn't be able to get up this morning because I was like, should I stay up and watch this? And I was like, fuck yeah. Okay,
Oh,
so let's just go over it. Is there anything in the season that's really, especially in these new batch of episodes, is there anything that's really caught your eye or anything in particular you
yeah.
really enjoyed?
Um, it's something. One,
Mhm,
Grog. I'm starting to remember all their names now. So
mhm,
listeners, please don't be upset. Grog looks like Kratos. He
mhm,
straight up looks like Kratos, and it's fucking hilarious. I love it. Also, too,
mhm,
like I love how they're kind of giving more story to Grog with the sword. Like the sword is telling him go kill the paladin. I'm blanking on her name. Um, go kill everyone else because I am hungry. I need blood. And like he's trying to like appease the sword, but the sword is not gonna like it's not gonna budge. So I'm really liking this story with him and the sword. And
mhm,
I'm also enjoying too. It seems like everyone this season is getting like an upgrade of some sort.
mhm.
Like Vox, Vex or no Vex, yeah, Vex like made
Yeah,
a
but
made a deal with this god, like this raven god, but
mhm,
it's they're like foreshadowing like something is bad gonna happen. But like he's like going fucking super fast, and he's like,
mhm.
and then Healy just became a firebender at like the end of the
Mhm.
episode of like, oh my god.
Oh, yeah, I saw the beginning and the mom was just going like, "Water and earth," and I'm just like, "Are we watching Avatar right now? What's going on?"
Yeah, so
I love that.
I'm really liking it. Um,
Mhm,
like Percy is my favorite character of the bunch. If I had to
mhm,
pick one, um, but I'm curious to see because there was one episode within the first batch of episodes, um, where Percy was at a gun shop and
mhm,
he was like, "Oh, I know she was here," and then the gun shop owner's being super goofy, and he's like kind of like freaking out a little bit. So I'm like,
mhm,
"Oh, what's going on right there?" But yeah, I'm just there's just some just there's a lot of as you can tell by what I'm saying right now. There's a lot of moving
mhm,
parts in the show, and
mhm,
I'm just super excited to see everything else. I know I didn't really answer your question, but you go.
mhm. No, it's okay. This is gonna sound dumb, but I love because I've sent you these TikToks. I love people making like edits of like the show versus the actual play
Yeah, it's like a
game.
one for one.
And I love that. And I wonder if part of the reason they can cut out on writing time is because everything's already written. They just need to condense it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like
Mhm,
as like they're like walking on the mountain, I was like I could
mhm,
just picture Matthew Mercer. You're on a mountain. The wind breezes this. All of a sudden, Keely, something catches your attention. You recognize this because it is your heritage. Blah 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 blah. And I'm
mhm,
like, oh shit, like like they got everything set up for you. Just watch Critical Role at that point, you know?
mhm. But I never will, just so I can be cool.
No,
But
I just don't want to spoil it for myself. That's it. That's the only reason why I'm not watching it.
same, honestly, maybe one day I'll go back when all this is over and just rewatch it, and that so I can see the actual play. But their episodes are long. Their episodes are like 4, 3 hours.
Fucking
I'm just
Christ.
like, damn, I'm gonna need to like a day or two to consume that. 'Cause, you know, I'm listening while, like, walking the dog or cleaning or something or driving or something. I'm not sitting down and watching it.
No, I got things to do.
I got things to do, babies to punch. But
Come on, Matthew
speaking of
Mercer.
Dungeons and Dragons, speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, we have an update to the D&D situation going on right now. We talked about this an episode or so ago that there was a leaked document from Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro. Hasbro being the parent company, Wizards of the Coast being the one that distributes and creates all the properties. Basically, there was a document leaked that they're changing their game license, which meant like a plethora of things. That being, for some Kickstarters using Dungeons and Dragons material, they would siphon some of the money that you made depending on how much money you made. Any content that you produced or published would be under their license, so they could use it however they see fit. And there is lots of stuff, and lots of other creators have done videos that go into farther expanse. But
That's the
basically,
meat
a
of
lot
it.
of yeah, that's the meat of it. Apparently, there are more leaked documents. None of this being official, although later signs point to it. That from an employee that said that, hey, if you really want to make a change, fill out their survey and unsubscribe from their digital service, just to kind of show them that you mean seriously. And this Friday, I believe Friday morning, Wizards of the Coast put out a message that said that they're gonna abandon basically their plans to alter the open game license, and a lot of people are celebrating. The open game license has been in place for like 20 years. It sort of just lets people use and build their own RPGs alongside the Wizards of the Coast material. So that's awesome. Like, it gives people the creative freedom to create stuff. So that's can you continue. Congratulations, everyone. I'm happy for everyone. And basically they're still gonna go ahead with some changes. Like, they're gonna have their I believe it's gonna be like I think it's D&D 1, or it's gonna be like Dungeons and Dragons 5.5 or something. But they're still moving forward with other plans. But Creative's Commons license is it's all free. Everyone don't have to worry about it anymore. And I think that's a wise choice because they don't want bad press. Because one, they have a movie
Yeah.
coming out soon, March
It's
31st.
literally called Dungeons and Dragons.
Honor Among Thieves. And they have like Lego sets coming out. They have,
Ooh,
I
I'm
mean,
excited for
Vox
that.
Machina and stuff. They have Vox Machina and so many other like independent people running stuff. So I guess enough people put pressure for them to like walk it back. So,
Now walk it
you
back.
know, walk
Now
it
walk it
back, get
back.
back at. They walked it back. So, yeah, so congratulations to everyone who did not want that to
You did it,
happen.
nerds. You did it,
We did
nerds.
it. You know what? If the Snyderverse show has proven anything, is that if enough nerds complain, things can happen. And this time it was done for good.
Who knows? Just like the Snyderverse, a bigger
Mhm.
problem may be lurking over the horizon.
Oh my god. But yeah, that's very exciting. I'm very happy. Now they can't go onto our Twitch stream and steal my work, which is what I was worried about.
But
Have
you
them
go on,
steal
but
I can't
don't
have them steal my amazing
but
characters.
don't you go into other people's Twitch streams and steal their work, Noah?
You know what? The thing is no, not here or there. Like, you don't have to worry about it. Like, that's fine. Like, it is the leader of your gang kind of based off Kratos? Maybe, but we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how you incorporate that monkey into the campaign.
Oh my god. Let me tell you guys, they will say stuff in the chat and just be like, "Oh, this should be in our game," and I'll just include it. So now I have to figure out how to include a monkey in a suit in our Dungeons and Dragons game.
We tossed
And
around a few ideas already,
mhm,
so you just
and
got to go back and listen to those audio
I
messages.
do. I'd have to go back weeks and just listen to it. But that's exciting. I know the thing about Dungeons and Dragons is that it's a community that's kind of based off of sharing and creating and collaborating. So when things were about to get restrictive, like what they were trying to set down, it feels like a real hindrance to a game because Dungeons and Dragons is its biggest self promoter through podcasts, through actual play shows, through books. Like, it promotes itself. So trying to restrict that seems a little counterintuitive because they are giving you so much advertising for free, basically.
Yeah, Hmm.
So it's like, I how many of us have seen like a show or a clip or listened to something and been like, oh, now I want to play it. Like there's very few people that go to like a comic book shop or a bookstore and see like a Dungeons and Dragons starter kit and just like, oh, I'm gonna buy that and start playing with my friends. No, there's something that exposes you to
Yeah,
that.
I mean, like look at Stranger Things. Like a big part of Stranger
Mhm.
Things is Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, every a lot. I feel like Stranger Things really helped push Dungeons and Dragons into the public conscience.
Hmm.
Like I even know, I think I've seen at like Target or something that they have like a Stranger Things Dungeons and Dragons kit. You know,
That'd be kind of cool.
I have no idea what's in it, but it had Stranger Things brand on it. So
I want to be 11 and just like ah.
I want to be a really cringy Eddie or what's this?
What do you mean? Eddie was cool.
No, but isn't he the rocker one?
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, but everyone on the internet is like freaking out about him. Remember that short period?
You know, let the internet freak out about who they're gonna freak out about. All right.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm acknowledging it for what it
No,
is.
Noah. No.
Don't make fun of my 31-year-old king like that.
You know that I was talking about this with Elizabeth. I'm afraid that guy
Mhm.
has peaked now. Like there's no
Oh
like
no.
he's put himself in a bubble. Like
Mhm.
that's it. No matter what he does, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, you're Eddie."
Like you're known for that one role and that's it.
Yeah.
Which actor do you feel like is known for one role and that's it?
um, Juan Carlo Esposito, John, the guy who plays as Gus from Breaking Bad.
Mhm.
He's
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
like he's done a million other things, but he's Gus. He is Gus,
Mhm.
and he will forever be Gus. And it does, and especially too that he went back in Better Call Saul to reprise his role, which is even
Mhm.
like just feels that even more.
Mhm.
That's the one guy I could think of that got stuck in a little bit of a bubble. Because when I saw him in Mando, I'm like, I just
Mhm.
referred to him as Gus.
It's like that's Gus in
Yeah, and
space.
then when I was playing like Far Cry, the newest Far Cry,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, this is Gus, but he just took over. He just took over like a small nation. All right.
I
Uh,
respect that.
but yeah, that's one guy. Speaking of video games, though, there's something I wanna talk
Oh my
about
gosh,
for a
let's get
second.
into it.
So, Xbox decided to have their own version of like a Nintendo Direct. And
Mhm.
for those who are unaware, Nintendo Directs are like they just kind of do them whenever they want to do them.
Mhm.
But they're like videos where the Nintendo executives are like, "Hey guys, we know you're looking forward to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Here's what we've been working on. I know you guys are super excited for Mario Party, blah blah blah. Here's they just show off what they're working on, and they're very condensed videos, no
Mhm.
longer than like an hour. Sometimes they're as short as like 30 minutes in and out. They just show you the meat, get out. And Xbox decided to do their own version of that, and they called it like the Developer Direct, something like that. Can you
Mhm.
fact check me on that, Noah, please? But yeah, they decided to do their version of a Nintendo Direct where they showed off a handful of games. And
I think it's called Xbox Developer Direct.
oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, there's they decided to show off 6 games. One of them was Redfall. I'm not gonna get into, but it looks really good. Another one was Elder Scrolls Online, um, Forza Horizon, and a handful of other
Mhm.
games. But the one game I really wanted, this whole reason why I brought this up, the one game that I wanted to talk about is this game called Hi-Fi Res.
Mhm.
Uh, there's a few things that really caught my eye on this game. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna clear my throat.
Yeah, fun fact, I'm down for this rant. Did they give any warning with this or were they just like, we're having this thing and then they just announced it?
So okay, there was a leak about this game, but I stay away from like those kind of leaks. But as soon as their like direct started, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna show off 5 games," and then like the animation, like they crossed out the 5 and put a 6.
Mhm.
And this okay, so there was a few things like I said that caught my attention. One is like one of my favorite games of all time is called Sunset Overdrive. Now,
Mhm.
the people who made that game is Insomniac. Those are the people who made the Spider-Man games. This was
Mhm.
before Sony bought them, years before Sony bought them. And Sunset Overdrive is about like you're like this young adult who's like it's a very punk rock game. and like you're a janitor, and like because of like this energy drink, everyone turns into like these monsters, and it's just you and a couple of like other like young adults. Like you guys got to band together and save the world.
I think I remember you talking about
Yeah, I
this.
fucking love that game. I will always say nothing but good things about that game. And like if they made a second one, I would buy it, and like I would pre-order like the $500 edition. That's how much I love it. Um, but it's about like these kids who go and like save the world, and like there's like it has like phenomenal soundtrack, and a lot of people say too. Um, this set up the foundation for Spider-Man because they play very similar,
Mhm,
and this game Hi-Fi Res looks essentially like Sunset Overdrive. Like the scenery, everything. That was the first thing that caught my attention. I was like,
mhm.
"Oh shit, this is a sequel that I never got." And another cool thing about it is that it's a rhythm based game. Usually I'm not too much of a fan because I've only played a handful,
Mhm,
and the ones I've played I didn't really care too much for. But you don't have to play to like the rhythm. So it's like the beat go doom 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 doom. And if you match up your buttons with it, it would just the beat will keep going, like, and the song will get better and better and better and better. But one thing that I really liked about it too was that they have like I might use this. They have like an accessibility mode that tells you his here's when to match it up. So like so you could just easily play with the beat, and like the world just looks super like wonderful, super colorful, super lighthearted.
mhm,
And I was like, yeah, I was like, this is Sunset Overdrive right here. And another thing that really caught my attention was that the Xbox studio who made this was part of the Bethesda acquisition, so, like, under the Bethesda family. Um, the people who made this was the horror division of Bethesda. They made the Evil Within 1 and 2, which is, like, essentially like Resident Evil, like, horror games, and, they were like, "Yeah, this is a game we really wanted to make, but, like, we wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for Xbox, like, buying us because now we can kind of explore a little bit." And, I was like, "This is dope," like, I love it when particularly, like, horror people kind of go out of their element a little bit and just do some other shit, like, the reverse effect of that is, like, Key and Peele. Like, Peele is fucking hilarious, but he knows how to do good horror. And, the last thing I wanna talk about too, what particularly got my attention about this, what got everyone's attention, the trailer came out strong, came out super strong. Like, you can see tweets of me where I'm just like, "Yes, yes, like, inject this into my veins, I'm ready." They just decided to, like, shadow drop this game.
mhm,
Like, for, like, the majority of people, like, 99.9% of people didn't know this game existed until the other day. And then at the end of the thing, they're like, "Yeah, if you guys wanna play it, it's up on Game Pass right now. Go download it.
mhm.
Or you could purchase the game, like, right now." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, like, this is so dope." I haven't touched it yet, but I'm gonna be playing it either sometime this week or next weekend for sure, and I am it just looks so fucking cool, like, I'm so happy
Mhm.
that this game
Uh,
exists.
for anyone that is interested, this game is developed by Tango Gameworks. They're the same people who did The Evil Within 2, Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah.
And so that if you kind of are familiar with those games, they're developed by the same person. And this is gonna sound random. When you told me to watch the trailer, it kind of reminded me of like those old Nicktoon video games, but like elevated in a way. I don't know how to explain this. Like just the colors and the way everything is lined and just I enjoyed it. It looked really cute and it looked fun. I'm down for this.
Yeah, the one thing I'm really, like,
Mhm,
appreciative, no hate on PlayStation, but, like, I
mhm,
noticed PlayStation goes for, like, the realism route, you know? Like,
mhm,
everything has to look really, really good, but on the other end, I'm noticing a little bit that, like, Xbox likes to kind of lean into, like, the
mhm,
cartoony stuff. And so
mhm.
I like I know, Dottie, I know you agree too.
Totally
I
agrees.
and I like that, like, in the world of 4K, 120 frames, yada yada yada, that we can still have games that look cartoony, that look super colorful.
Mhm.
That's one thing I really appreciate. That like that's something we're not leaving.
You know, I think that's interesting because I you can totally correct me if I'm wrong, and I think I've said this in the past, but I feel like PlayStation titles try to really focus on like narrative,
Hmm.
and Xbox is more like multiplayer, fun. Like not that Xbox doesn't have like narrative driven games, but I feel like they have more of like a wider selection of like fun, cartoony moreish games.
Hmm. I
And when you
agree.
have those narrative games, you want it to look realistic. You want to stick to a certain art style. Like you would never see a Halo game in the style of this one, you know?
Yeah. Although that'd be kind of cool though.
Yeah, and not to say that things that look cartoony can't have like this deep narrative. I'm just saying that's how it typically
Hmm.
is.
But
But
speaking
mhm,
of deep narratives, did you watch the new Last of Us episode?
um oh yes, I did. I'm freaked out about it because there's a moment I'm sure we'll talk about, but it freaked me out.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
But so far it's
Two.
episode 3. Is it
Episode
to
two.
3?
Episode
It's
two.
2.
So
I'm still mad.
really
Uh-huh.
quick. If you guys have made it this far, thank you. I
Mhm.
appreciate you. But if you haven't watched episode two, I would just say stop listening right now because we're gonna get
Mhm.
heavy into spoilers. And
Exactly.
if you drop off right now, thank you guys. We love and
Yeah.
appreciate you. And your homework for this week is to go and go to the park. Just go to the park and chill. That's your
Mhm.
homework for the people dipping out right now. Other people are
Mhm.
gonna have separate homework.
And
Um
if you need something to do at the park, just open Pokemon Go. Just download Pokemon Go and play Pokemon
Yeah,
Go.
go play Pokemon Go at the park. That's your homework.
Pokemon Go at the park. But,
Yeah, let's
mhm,
dive into it. You've been warned.
dive into this episode. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and also too, we like just a
Mhm,
peek behind the curtain. We record these on Saturdays, and we release them on Monday, so that we're clearly not going to talk about episode three. So just letting you guys know that until the next episode of this podcast.
mhm,
But yeah, let's dive into it because they made a lot of changes
mhm,
from the game to the show, and one thing I found super interesting about that is Neil Druckmann directed this episode, and he made some
mhm.
really bold changes. Like the creator of the fucking of the series just said, "Okay, I'm gonna go and like backtrack on some things."
I think that's interesting because you have this conundrum where there are going to be fans that exactly want the game tit for tat. They want the exact same story, they want the exact same movements, and sometimes those shots are pulled directly out of the game, and I love it. And there's always gonna be those people that are like, "Hey, well, if we're doing this, why just repeat the game? Let's try something different." And I always feel like I'm in the middle. Like I would love like most of the story to stay intact, but I'm down for like detours. I'm
Yeah,
down
as long as
for
you hit the main
changing things
beats,
a
right?
little. Yeah, so you tell me what you thought of the episode while I kick my dog out of my room.
Okay. Now, uh, the beginning of the episode, I really did enjoy how they I forget where they are in the world. It's like somewhere that's not in America, and they're like telling they're like the governments of this other nation. I'm blinking on where they were. They're like they get the scientists and they're like the scientist is like, yeah, there's nothing we can do. We gotta like nuke the fucking. We gotta scorch this place. Like there's nothing we can do to stop this because people are getting infected at these farms. We don't know where the other people are, and I really like seeing like essentially day zero of the infection and like how the governments of the world are treating it differently. So like that's something that I find really really interesting, and I kind of hope that's something that they keep doing as the show progresses. And right now too, I remember Elizabeth, my girlfriend, was talking to me, and she was like, you like Ellie a lot, huh? I'm like, yeah, I love her. She's a good character. She's like, but she's a little shit right now. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, this is like the part of the game where she's still like, still a shithead. You gotta like, and I told her I was like, in another level or two, they start to really bond and you see it. But
Okay, I think that's funny too because I see a lot of people being like, "Oh, I fucking hate Ellie. She's so fucking annoying." Da, 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 da."
that's the
I'm just
point.
like,
She's supposed to be.
yeah, that's the whole point. That's the whole fucking character arc. You grow to like this character because they soften up, and the relationship gets better. Like that's the whole point of the character.
Yeah, because I remember when I played it, I was like, why does everyone like
Mhm,
her? All she does is fucking complain. But then,
mhm.
then by the end of the game, I'm like, that's my daughter. That's my little girl right there.
At the beginning of the game, she's just like, "I don't give a fuck about you. I'll fucking kill you. I'll run away." And then at the end of the game, she's just like making dad jokes and like, look, there's a giraffe," and just things like that.
Uh-huh.
So it's the character changes.
A lot, and in a
Mhm,
good way too, in a very good way. But yeah, those are some things that's happened right there.
mhm,
One thing I found interesting, I just like I get why they did it, but I'm just like, oh man, like
mhm.
it seems like you kind of shoot yourself in the foot a little bit with this. But then again, I'm not a story writer. So
Mhm,
it was the part where it's like, oh, the infected are a hive mind,
mhm, at the
and
beginning,
mhm,
when the lady was, like, dissecting everything.
yeah, and she was like, yeah, they're a hive mind, and like if you step on this vine, it's gonna
Mhm,
their roots are so like deep underground, it's gonna send all the infected in a 5 mile radius
mhm,
to know exactly where you're at. And I'm like, that's cool, but I feel like
mhm,
you just kind of established something that could like, that could potentially you could run into some problems as the show goes on.
mhm.
But yeah, that was something I found super interesting right there. I talked for a little bit though. I haven't gotten into the last scene of the episode, but
Oh my
we'll
god.
keep talking. But what did you think about this episode?
I'm okay with the hive mind. I feel like it doesn't change things too much, and I'm interested to know to know what you mean by, like, might cause problems. Do you mean, like, for the characters themselves or just for, like, the story itself?
I think a little bit of both, just because it's
Mhm,
those are everywhere, and
mhm,
if the things are like rooted underground, why hasn't the it's just me asking questions at this point,
mhm,
it's like why hasn't like the roots gone into the city? Why don't they know that they're at the city at this point, and
mhm.
if they know they're underground, what come they're not? Why isn't Fedra and like the Fireflies going underground and trying to take out these roots?
I would say for the first part of that, I would say maybe they have to, like, actually touch the roots. Do they touch them in the episode? I don't remember.
Yeah, at the end of the episode, they like essentially click it and then fucking sets everything off into motion before all the infected
Okay.
arrive.
Well, I guess we'll see how they deal with that next episode because I know there's a big group of them. But I guess for the second part, I guess I'm not gonna like excuse it, but I'm gonna try to reason it out.
But you get
I
what
guess the
you get
thing
what I'm
about
saying though, right?
I think the thing about Fedra and Fireflies, it kind of shows like they're so concerned with fighting each other, they're not taking the real problem like at the front of like their issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's the infighting can destroy things, and they're not to actually like. And when I say infighting, I mean like just humanity's survival,
Mhm.
and those two entities fighting rather than working together to like take down these monsters is just kind of example of how they're both kind of ineffective in their own way.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I could see that.
But again, that's not something that's spelled out in the show. That's something I had to infer. So who knows if they'll give like an actual reason or if they'll point that out or who knows.
But
So
what did you think of the clickers?
I love the design. I thought it was so cool, so fucking
Yeah.
scary. I was
I
like, "Oh my god."
I remember hearing something that the people who played the clickers were the same people who
Mhm.
voiced them in the original game.
Oh, fuck no. It's you see I'm, like, traumatized whenever I hear that noise now. I'm like
Yeah, it's something like that.
or whatever. I'm just like, "Oh my god." It's insane, and I love the visual effects that they've done here, the prosthetics, everything they've done with the face
Yeah, it
is
looks
fucking
insane.
oh my god, it looks so
Like
good.
there's a picture, I gotta look for it. You
Mhm.
may have seen it. Internet, this is your homework too. Go look up the picture of like Neil Druckmann talking to the actor who's playing as a clicker, and
Mhm,
they're just kind of standing there, and he's like giving them like visual directions, and like you can just see like the makeup and all the prosthetics they put on like these actors, and it looks fucking
mhm.
crazy.
It's fucking insane, and I think we need to talk about the most insane scene that
Yeah.
so,
Hold on, wait,
spoilers for
before we get
okay.
into that,
Mhm,
one thing too, I did like the one for one scenes, like, when they were, like, on the rooftop
mhm,
and then Allie was, like, walking over the wood plank, and then
mhm,
they were like Joe was like, "Yeah, like, this place looks beautiful, huh?" Or, like, when they were in the museum, because that's, like, straight out of like,
mhm.
obviously straight out of the game, and, like, I'm loving the homage to the source material. That's
Mhm.
all my thoughts are all over the place, but that's what I'm trying to say.
I will say there is a difference because in this, Tess gets bitten, we all know that, and in the game, she does stay behind
No,
so that they can
he got
no,
bit.
in oh, yeah, no, I'm saying that she got bit. She got bit back in the museum, and so but in the game, she stays behind and sacrifices herself because they're fighting Fedra.
No, she gets bit in the game too.
Yeah, I'm saying she gets bit. But I'm saying, like, she gets bit, but then she stays behind to fight the Fedra
Oh
guys.
yeah, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad, my
Yeah,
bad.
no, she gets bit, of course, and she's like, "I'm done for anyways. I'm gonna hold them off while you guys run."
Hmm.
So in the game, it's Fedra, but in the show, it's just the fucking
Yeah,
infected.
and what I found interesting too, which I thought they were gonna do in the game, but in the show, um, you don't explicitly see
Mhm,
Tess die in the game, but
mhm. You kinda just hear it.
You hear Fedra come in and you hear a gaga, you hear gunshots
Mhm,
and then it gets quiet, and then Fedra's like clear out, and then in the game you have to like essentially work your way back to the front entrance and fight your way out. And so I thought they were gonna do something like that in the show, but what they
mhm,
did was kind of fucking weird, in my opinion. Like I read like a little bit of an article online, and I saw people like on TikTok and Twitter be like, "This was like the kiss of death. This was so like artistic." I'm like, "No, this was
mhm.
just weird." Like I'm like, "Druckmann, you had some explaining to do." Like, you
I
wanna fuck a clicker?
Mhm.
Is that what you're telling me?
Oh my god. You know what they wanted to do? They just wanted to give the monster fuckers in the audience more, like more things to, like, salivate over.
Uh huh.
They can be like, "Oh my god." But, I think I'm not sure why it happened that way. I think it's interesting because I have a quote from Entertainment
Yeah, but
Weekly.
wait, we're not actually
Mhm.
explaining what's happening.
Okay, okay, you go ahead.
So so at the end of the episode,
Mhm,
Tess is infected. They set off the chip mine of the hive mind,
mhm,
and then they're like, she's like, "We get the fuck out of here. I'll buy time. You guys go." And then Joe and them are like, essentially, "Okay, we got to dip out." And so as she's like lighting this, she's like setting all this gasoline around her, and she's lighting her lighter. Fun fact about that lighter: that's the same lighter that they used in one of the Uncharted games.
mhm,
Because Naughty Dog also made Uncharted as well as The Last of Us. Um, but she's like setting off this lighter, and there's like grenades, there's all these explosives on the floor as well as gasoline. She has this lighter, and she's trying to like light her lighter and like blow up the
mhm,
building, and she's trying and trying and trying. Nothing's happening. All these infected are running through. One decides to stop, look to the side, and approaches her. She's freaking out, and this infected is like walking very slowly to her. And as she's still lighting it, the infected goes up to her, and you see the fungus come out of this infected's mouth
mhm,
and goes into her mouth. So they essentially kiss. And it's this very weird scene of them kissing. And then
mhm,
as the fungus goes from his mouth to her mouth, she finally lights it, drops the lighter, boom, the whole building blows up with her inside of it.
mhm.
But okay, yeah, but I just wanted to set the scene. Go.
No, it's insane, and if you hate it, I 100% understand. But, there's an interesting thing, there's a quote from Druckmann. Um, he says that these things don't have to get violent unless you're fighting them from spreading the infection further. That is realized in this beautiful yet horrific way with Anna, and I'm just like, "Okay, but you didn't have to kiss him." Like, what was that, like, part of the bot it was the hive mind just like, "That's the biggest hole I can put my spores into?" And, like, what is happening? And I think,
Hey, why don't you come meet me in the
mm,
restroom real quick? Let's go exchange fucking fungus.
I think that they're just like, here's more quotes. He said, "What can we do to separate our infected even further from zombies? It's more than just a bite. There's something else going on," Druckmann recalls. "I wish we had that aha moment immediately, but we brainstormed so many different things they could be doing, some of them pretty outlandish." And that, it's kind of like they said it's kind of trying to link back to, like, the tendrils idea because they kind of they said they haven't given up on it,
What's that?
but they've like, the tendrils, like, like, the mouth octopus arm things,
Yeah, that's so
like Mhm.
weird.
They said they've kind of, like they haven't given up on it, but they've kinda departed from the spores idea
Hmm.
just because, like, spores could be everywhere and take over the earth and, like, very
Yeah,
quickly,
so
but in the
that's why they
game
took it out of the
Mhm.
game. I mean, out of the show.
Mhm. So they said that they might bring in spores later. Like, here's another quote. Part of the issue with the spores is that you run into them quite a bit in the game, although not as much people think. And if there were that many spores and they are airborne, the infection is going to go faster. it's hard to imagine how anyone escapes it, and people will probably be wearing masks all the time. In the game, in the second you leave a spore space, you're like, whoa, you're okay now. So now they're kind of doing the tendril thing and the hive mind thing. And I think there's no real like artistic. I think they just wanted to find like a fucked up way to do that. And you know
Uh-huh.
what? That's what they did.
Yeah, they succeeded, but it's just like,
Mhm.
at what cost?
At what cost? Just for more fanfics?
Yeah, like
For more like monster fucker
and the
fanfics?
fact that Neil Druckmann directed that
Mhm.
episode, and I'm like, this was sitting in the back of your
Mhm.
mind for some time, you fucking weirdo, you know? Like, I say that with much love and respect, Mr. Druckmann. I
Mhm.
know you listen to this episode.
Yeah, we know that he listens to the show.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Druckmann, for listening.
Mhm.
We're gonna be extras in one of the episodes. Keep an
Yeah.
eye out for us.
Yeah, if
But
if it doesn't make this
mhm,
cut, it's gonna be in season 2. That also got confirmed. Yeah. So sorry for that abrupt cut that you guys just heard right now. It may be bad. It may not be bad. Well, future Louis will find out in post production. But we had to end the episode a little bit early, and if you guys have made it this far, I want to thank you all for listening. If you guys are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please be sure to leave us a good review. If you're listening to us on Spotify, leave us a good review and follow us. And if you're listening to us on YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a nice little comment. But until then, we will see you guys next week, and peace.